Hi survivors, it's me Purpose Ann reporting to you. Y'all, today I'm coming with a sense of urgency. Um, if there's any interruptions in this video, like a couple of my last videos have been, I do apologize in advance, but please listen to the message, listen to the audio, opposed to whatever type of distraction may be going on with the video, whether that being it may stop or my voice is not matching up with the video itself. This is a very important video, and I pray to God that it helps as many people as possible, including myself, in regards to preparedness, survivalism, and just being ready, most of all, taking this very seriously. You guys, since this last incident that just occurred in Kentucky and those surrounding areas, and my hearts and prayers go out to each and every one of you, from the families to the businesses, the communities, the police departments, the fire departments, all those who are coming in to help rescue people, even some of those inmates that are out there trying to help people. Everybody collectively, we are praying for you. The nation is praying for you. And I know a lot of us in areas who have been affected by traumatic, devastating, weather-related events and that type of scale, like here in Texas, with Harvey and the Texas winter storm. We, not just in this area, but in other areas, we truly sympathize with you. Not saying that no one else is, it's just that we have also been through similar experiences, even though this experience that you guys are going through is so overwhelming, it's so heartbreaking. But I'd like to talk to you guys today. Since this have occurred, I'm restructuring the whole way I do things as far as survivalism is concerned. I'm structuring my mentality and my thought process on what to do and what steps to further take in regards to survivalism. I'm exhausted, to be honest with you, as well as everybody else. It's like we just keep getting battered and battered and battered and battered. But at the same time, God does not give us the spirit of fear, but of love and of sound mind. And then we also have to remember that other people are dependent on us. We have to gather the strength, however that means that we have to do it, in order to keep going, to survive these times. When I say gather the strength, I'm talking about the things that we talk about, that I talk about all the time on this platform: meditating, praying, exercising, eating healthy, eating once a day, and also prepping, because that gives you insurance and knowing, God forbid, if and when these things occur, you have everything set in place. So as I was saying, I'm restructuring my whole mentality on how to go about doing things since this thing that just occurred out there in Kentucky. The scale of that type of tornado, I don't think none of us have ever seen or heard in our lifetime. Now, I ask you guys all the time to follow Weatherman Plus, because he always report on weather-related events way before your meteorologist will inform you of it. So if you're serious about survivalism, and if you're serious about what's about to happen again with the weather, we need to stay on top of the weather, y'all. Please subscribe to Weatherman Plus. I don't even know this man yet. I just know that he's accurate in his information, and he's godly. He quotes scriptures. I'm not saying that because he does that makes him such a godly person. I'm just saying he's very accurate about what's going to happen in these areas in our country. So it would behoove you. That's step number one. Please do that, and do that now. Like I said, now I'm thinking about maybe underground, going underground in ways that I could do it that's economically feasible in order to survive. I know here in Texas, everything has gone up everywhere, but here in Texas, things are still economically feasible as far as the food, some of the supplies and materials. I know last year or before the pandemic, containers were like, you could get a container for like $2,000. So I'm trying to see if I could price some kind of small containers to put, and have, I don't know if I can do this in certain areas because I told you, even with buying land and having land in certain areas and jurisdictions, there are certain things that you can and that you cannot do. And I'm not trying to tell anybody to buck the system, but I don't know how they would know if you're building an underground bunker or, like one of the cheap kinds, but where it's legal in order to be able to do that, and where it will be livable, where you can actually be in there and not and still be able to survive. That's all I have to say about that. But anyway, so I was going to look into some containers and try to put on one of my properties and try to build underground as far as that's concerned, because like I said, the magnitude of this tornado was so overwhelming that's why there's so many tragedies occurred that's affiliated with it. It's just, when you look at the areas that it touched down, it's like these towns are no longer. I heard people saying that they went into basements. Those people survived. It's not a lot of stories as far as that is concerned, but I know I talk about weather manipulation on this channel all the time. I'm just trying to be careful with my words. Y'all, please be patient with me if I'm silent, because I have to be very careful with my words. I talk about weather manipulation all the time on here, but this one really, really opened up my eyes, because I'm like, okay, allegedly, I'm saying allegedly, this is my perspective. I'm not saying this is factual. If they have the capabilities to produce something, a weather event, at this scale, at this magnitude, we might be in trouble. We just may be. But my mind always thinking about how to survive it. How to survive it, So that was just one of my ideas that came through my mind. Not saying that I will do that or if I will be able to do that, because, like I said, I've been affected behind the mandates. I was affected, being in New York and losing a lot of money. I'm doing everything I can now to stay afloat like everybody else. But, I have been in extreme weather-related events. And even with the Texas winter storm, they froze this whole state over in February, y'all. When I tell you, it was something like we've never seen before in our lives. And when I tell y'all, don't get caught off guard, I mean that with my whole heart, because they will hit you where you're most vulnerable. That tornado that just struck down in Kentucky and those surrounding areas, freezing cold temperatures. Freezing cold temperatures. So not only it makes it hard for people who have succumbed to those injuries, who may be trapped in those buildings or trapped under mobile homes or trapped in their houses, it may be hard for them to get themselves out, not only because of the rubble, but because how cold it is. It's also difficult for the workers, the rescue workers, to come in and try to get these people because it's freezing cold. They will hit you when you are most vulnerable or when it's least expected. Nobody expected or have ever heard about tornadoes hitting those areas in December. We have never seen the state of Texas freeze over in the month of February. In February in Texas, it's usually warm. This is what I mean when I say don't get caught off guard. And all of these things I'm saying are allegedly, but they really truly happened. So I'm going to go over some things. You guys follow me. It might be a little repetitious, but these are things that I've done in my life when I heard that there was a severe or even just minor weather-related events. My daughter, when she was in elementary, before I took her out to be in homeschool, because my daughter was homeschooled for mostly elementary, junior high, and high school. Then I put her back in public school the year she graduated, just to see if her academic levels were on the level of the school children, and she way surpassed that. She graduated top 3 in the state of Texas and on the honor society because I homeschooled her. And so many parents and everybody during the pandemic was tripping, and they were worried how their children were going to get educated because of everything that was going on. You educate your children. But however, you hear these things about to happen, or if you feel it in your spirit, or if you're around nature and you're looking at the clouds and you're looking at the sky and you're looking at the animals, because the animals will be the first one to tell you what's going on. But so many of us, we're in cities. So if you hear about these things, the first thing to do is don't send your children to school. Don't you go to work. Just don't do it. Or if your children are in school and you hear about it, get your children out of school immediately. If you're at work, come home. Of course you ask your management, but if your management tells you no, well, I'm sorry. You apologize and you be as respectful as possible, but you say, I have to go. A lot of those people, I heard stories that were working in an Amazon warehouse. I think it's in Illinois, in one of those areas where this tornado just struck down. They asked management if they could leave. When they heard the storm was coming, they told them no. And 6 of those people, and maybe more, have passed. So you don't wait for your boss man. They're not going to tell you not to come into work, y'all. These schools hardly ever will tell you don't send your child to school. Some of them will still stay open, but schools are pretty adamant of closing down. I know, especially out here in Texas, when there's going to be a huge, huge event or whatever. But a lot of schools, you just don't know. Y'all don't wait for those people to tell you to protect yourselves. Look at all those people in that candle factory. I don't know if those people were aware that was going to happen. A lot of people don't know. They don't keep up with the weather. I don't know why. I keep up with the weather. And I would encourage you to do the same. Y'all, excuse my glasses. So these are some notes that I took down. I said my daughter was in a camp. I have to go back to that because sometimes I get caught off guard. And it was a big weather-related event here in Texas that was occurring. I went all the way to that camp and got her. She was so upset. We talk about this to this day, but she's still here with me by the grace of God. That was years ago. Have emergency money just for the purpose to leave. If you hear about a weather-related event in your area on the scale of what just happened and what just occurred out there in Kentucky, and on the scale of Harvey that happened here in Texas, and on the scale of the Texas winter storm, just like the Senator Ted Cruz did, he left. Get you and your family out of there before it even hit. Always have money set aside, emergency money, where you can leave. And of course, you have to try to find out where to go. You don't want to leave one area to another area that's going to be affected as well. So you want to make sure you're going somewhere. I say that a lot of people be talking about sheltering in place. You don't shelter in place for nothing like that, because a lot of people have lost their life and are still people. They're still looking for people. It's no telling what the count is going to be as far as the deaths are concerned. It's hard to survive that. And if you have children and elderly people, don't try to play that game. If you yourself want to play that game, you go right ahead. But if you have people that you are responsible for, you try to get you and your family members up out of there. Have an idea where to go. I said get your children out of school immediately, or don't send them. I already talked about the job. You don't panic. You always keep supplies. Always keep supplies. Always keep supplies. A whole lot of clean water, a lot of cleaning products, a lot of non-perishable foods. And I'm pretty sure the list goes on and on. If you have to stay where you are, clear out a closet. Make sure that you can be in your bathtub. Keep loose things and debris out of your yards and your porches. Board up your windows. Keep your houses clean at all times. Make sure you have candles and batteries and a radio where you can hear what's going on. The whole grid is down in these areas. Make sure you can still cook. Make sure that you have enough water to last you for, I'll say, a couple of weeks. I really want to say a couple of months, but I know that's not a reality for a lot of people. but water is a major, major, major thing. These are some more things that I like to go over with you in regards to preparing for some of these weather related events. Have a weather alert radio in your place. Have a plan to provide emergency notification to all of your family members. And this is also for employers. If you're an employer, if you have a business, make sure you have a weather alert or radio in your office. Have a plan to provide emergency notification warning system to all your employees, your clients, your visitors, and customers in an emergency. The alert notification system in My Agility can be a valuable tool to assist in keeping communication lines open with all of your employees. And this is also for people who own businesses. And this is important. I want to talk about this first because a lot of these people didn't have no idea of what to do. Put your crisis management plan in writing and give it to all your employees. Make sure you drilling your employees on crisis management. Conduct drills regularly to prepare your employees for the real thing. When you establish your timeline for workplace preparation and closure, consider that employees will need to prepare their families and take care of personal matters as well. Allow enough time for them to execute their personal preparedness plans. Identify critical employees and make sure they understand what is expected of them during a disaster. For example, you may need certain employees responsible for IT functions to work during a disaster to protect and reestablish your technology systems. If you need those employees to work remotely, make travel, hotel, and meal arrangements in advance, and ensure they know what equipment and support they would need to perform their duties. Develop a plan to allow your payroll, benefits, and HR functions to operate during a disaster, after a disaster, or during any period in which access to your workplace is restricted. If employees will be required to return to the workplace to assist in the recovery process before all services are restored, obtain an adequate supply of water, non-perishable foods, first aid supplies, generators, cleaning supplies, batteries, flashlights, and other necessities. This also is not only for the employer-employee situation. This is for regular people, for families as well. Update your employee contact information regularly at the beginning of any season during which natural disasters are more likely. For those in hurricane-prone areas, that means now. Look for the following danger signs: dark, often greenish sky, large hail, dark, low-lying clouds, and or loud roar that sounds like a freight train. But of course, sorry you guys, you want to be aware of these things before they even occur. Now, in residential areas, go to the basement or inside a room without windows on the lowest floor, the bathroom, the closet, the center hallway. Number 2, if possible, avoid sheltering in a room with windows. You just do not want to do that. Number 3, for added protection, get under something sturdy like a heavy table or workbench. Number 4, do not stay in a mobile home. These are things that you just really shouldn't do when disaster strikes. Some more notes that I took, you guys. Please bear with me. So basically, that's the basic things that I do want to talk to you guys about. I feel like we're living in very, 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 very treacherous times. Very treacherous times, y'all. It didn't mention a generator, but if you have a generator, that'll help you as well. Now, I'd like to talk about what's about to happen this week. Weatherman Plus has predicted that there will be extreme weather this week that's going to be hitting Texas once again. The grids will go down. So this is given, and it's going to be some other surrounding areas. I believe also Oklahoma, Arkansas, some of the areas. Y'all go and listen to the last video of Weatherman Plus. I'm not going to go on into that because there are other areas besides Texas, but I know Texas is going to be highly affected this week with a lot of cold, unbelievably cold weather and some weather-related events and storms. So you guys, please go listen to that video. Be prepared for the grid to go down this week. Be prepared. That dark winter they were talking about is in full effect, y'all. It's very concerning. It's very concerning. Don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. And you keep your mind on surviving. You utilize your creative visualization and you see yourself. You close your eyes. You can do it now with me while I'm doing it. You visualize you and your family in safe harm. In safety, away from harm. You visualize that you guys surviving these weather-related events. You visualize you guys surviving these times and coming out on the other side prosperous. You visualize the angels being swarmed around you and protecting you and your loved ones right now. As you close your eyes and you pray to God to help you during these times, you repent for everything that you've done wrong in the past, that you may be doing now, or even some of your future sins. We just ask God for forgiveness right now. But you utilize your creative visualization and you see yourself being a warrior and a survivor, and your family surviving, and you having everything that you need. You visualize yourselves being in safety, whether it's a bunker, or whether it's a bug out location, or whether it's just right in your home, and you visualize that everything around you is in place, all the non-perishables you need, all the water that you need, all the supplies that you need. This helps you. When you see it in your mind, it's going to manifest itself in a physical form. Believe me when I tell you that. I wish you guys the best. It may seem like a little weird for a lot of people who are not used to creative visualization and meditation methods, but it helps me all the time to stay calm, to stay relaxed, and to also see myself where I need to be and what I need to be doing, especially in these times, y'all. This is ugly. It's an agenda. I'm going to say allegedly. But if they can produce something like that, y'all can go back and listen to, read some of the comments in my last couple of videos. It's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning right now, so I'm kind of, but God woke me up and told me I need to make a video about this. Read some of the comments of the people in the area. They're saying that they feel like that happened to them intentionally. It's a lot of areas that's cut off, that's impassable, that they just can't even have access to now, and they feel like that was done on purpose. So you guys watch this world, watch the weather, smell your water, boil your water before you use it, and keep surviving. Please give me a thumbs up. Please leave me a comment as to how y'all feel about these past weather-related events that's just occurred and the ones that's coming to us. And this is what he meant when he said dark winter, because I think he slipped up and said that. But he gave all of us a fair warning. Keep surviving. It's ZanHera.com.